Hello and welcome to I Heart Gardening and the continuation of our neighborhood walkway project. This is bed number 1. I made a video about this bed last week, and I'll start with here because this is the walkway here, and there's actually 4 beds that we're going to be doing. We're calling excuse me, this one bed number 1. This one is bed number 2, bed number 3, and bed number 4. And at this point in time, 1, 2, and 4 are completed, but we haven't finished number 3 yet. And some wonderful things have been happening here. Since the end of the last video, this bed has got some new plants that were donated by a lady who lives in the neighborhood who was just walking by. So she invited me to her garden and dug up some perennials, some Bergenia, and I've brought some lamium over from my yard. So this bed is looking a little bit fuller. The pansies are getting more settled in. We've been doing lots of watering because it's been very hot here. I've got my wildflower seeds that are popping up. Look, the daylilies blooming today. And that lady who brought some perennials over brought over some of her ground cover sedum, so I've got a couple of small pieces of it in this bed. And we've got some more of it over here in bed number 2. So we've already done a makeover of bed number 2. Yesterday we were working on it and adding more plants in here again. So yesterday we added some lily of the valley in. We had initially planted it up with a variegated ribbon grass in the middle. This bed really needed some more shrubs for structure. So initially we had planted the lilac, juniper, and lilac, but then we added in the weigela, and we've added some sedums here. We just needed a lot more plants in here. So we've got sedum here and there, and I've brought in some clustered bellflower from my yard. We went shopping and put in Monarda. We've got some salvia, more Monarda, and another salvia. So some of the plants that we had purchased for beds number 3 and 4 have ended up in this bed now to fill it up. But we're glad we did. And now we're calling this one bed, not bed number 2, but the purple bed. And then over here is bed number 4. And we got this job done yesterday. It was a tough job. My neighbor and I were working to dig out these roots, and we were exhausted last night. But they wanted to put in some trees so that they could have some privacy. They have their deck on the other side of this fence, and they're super happy that those rose bushes are gone because the roots were going underneath their fence. And they're also very happy because this is just much nicer to look at, very pleasing. Josie's picked all these plants out and she loves them. Like last night she just was almost jumping for joy. She was so happy. So I'll show you some of the plants that we've got in this bed. We've got the Stella d'Oro daylilies, Old Coast juniper, so that one should spread and really fill in that whole area there. A lot of these plants here we did not get the sale prices for them. The Stella d'Oro daylilies, we have been finding them on clearance, so that's good. And all these plants, we know they're going to do really well here because this is a full sun, dry area. We want things that are going to be low maintenance. We don't want to be spending a lot of time coming out here and deadheading or treating for pests or weeds, so we want to try and have ground cover things. I found some denim and lace salvia, which I'm excited about because I watch Laura with Garden Answer and she talks about that plant all the time. So we are just so happy at the transformation, how much better that this looks compared to before. Here's bed number 4 all mulched up and looking good. Everything in here is doing really well. I love this variegated sedum. It's bringing so much joy to have these plants here. Something beautiful, something interesting. This plant here, I'm guessing is a sedum. I don't know the exact variety because it didn't have a tag. But for some reason, this plant has become a favorite of mine and my neighbors. We just love that plant, love coming to look at it. I've added a few more plants in here. It needed a bit of color, so I put in some purple wave petunias. And one of the neighbor ladies, when she found out what we were doing, went out and bought us some perennials. So she went and got us a couple of salvias and a blue oat grass. And I find that the decorations in here really add a personal touch. Because these walkways are in a public space, it could end up looking something very generic that the city does. But to me, these decorations just really make it feel more neighborhood homey. The Stella d'Oro daylilies have been doing well, and the color has been really nice here. And I'll mosey on down to bed number 2 for an update. We've started thinking of this walkway more as a walk-through garden than just as a simple walkway. And it's now become a destination, like a place for neighbors to gather. It's been really nice. Like, I couldn't have asked for a better result, not just with how the plants are doing, but the community that's been growing because of this as well. One of the neighbor ladies dug up some perennials from her yard, periwinkle and a ground covered sedum, and I've fallen in love with that plant, so I went and bought some of that for my own yard. We've had a lot of hot, dry weather, so my neighbors had to do a lot of watering. The mulch, I think, is helping to keep that moisture in, which is good. And we've actually got a little bit of rain in the last couple days, so that has been wonderful. And just a reminder of what bed number 2 looked like before with all the overgrown dead wild rose bushes. I think this is a huge improvement, and it's beautiful, and I can't wait to see what this looks like when it all grows and fills in. Thanks for watching. We'll see you soon.